It's not secret. I have better than him wrestling, grappling. I can strike with anyone. November 15, I will show you who is the best fighter in the world.
My advantage is I'm a better mixed martial artist, and I'm going to break Islam Makhachev. I'm going to take his pound-for-pound spot. It's going to be a great moment for my career and my legacy.
I think Islam, we will see both good fighters. Islam moving up, it's interesting to see what's he gonna do. But I think Islam will be...
All right, so we're just days away from UFC 322, and everyone is hyped for this Islam Makhachev versus Jack Della Maddalena showdown. Islam is feeling super confident about grabbing his second UFC belt. He's talking about how much he wants to experience that champion thrill all over again. He even mentioned remembering the emotions from his first title win against Charles Oliveira, saying he's chasing that feeling. Islam believes he's in his absolute prime, and he doesn't want to leave the sport without a second belt around his waist. He actually said, "I want to feel that again. It's my prime time, and I don't want to leave this sport without a second belt." Now, JDM has a totally different game plan. He's focused on shutting down those takedowns and getting a finish on his feet. He's expecting a fight that looks a lot like his bout with Belal Muhammad. Jack thinks Islam will try a bunch of takedowns, but he's confident he'll pop right back up every round and just sting him with strikes, wearing him down, and eventually getting the stoppage. His dream finish? To end it at Madison Square Garden and completely ignite that crowd. Jack told us, "Islam will try a few more takedowns, but I believe I'll be able to get back to my feet every round and sting him on the feet, damage him, break him, and then finish him." That would be the dream, to get a finish at MSG and blow the roof off the place. After really breaking down Islam's strengths, Jack is all about keeping this fight standing. He totally respects Islam's elite wrestling, but he plans to avoid clinches and takedown attempts, keeping his distance because he thinks he's got a huge advantage in striking. JDM explained, "I'm trying not to let him get hold of me, trying to keep distance where I believe on the feet I hold a big advantage." He's even picturing himself finishing Islam and hearing the crowd absolutely roar, turning to see his corner celebrating wildly as the entire arena goes crazy. What a vision, right?
MSG, biggest fight of the year, Islam Makhachev. What are you seeing?
I just see like a finish. I see a finish happening. I see the crowd going wild and just turning to the corner and just see him going berserk.
Oh, man, I hope so. I hope so.
So, speaking of predictions, middleweight champ Khamzat thinks Islam Makhachev is definitely going to win against Jack Della Maddalena at UFC 322. He's actually pretty excited about this matchup, especially with Islam moving up in weight. Khamzat fully expects Makhachev to rely super heavily on his wrestling game. He believes Islam's constant grappling pressure will really control the whole fight and start to slow down Jack's striking as those rounds tick by.
Jack or Islam? Well, Islam will get the and Jack will get
My Jack trainer.
asking he coach brother weight what he gonna say, we'll see. Your opinions?
5% od Madalenas.
O, Islam to jest bueno.
Jest sam problem.
Tu hitno. Coach says 55% Maddalena, 45 Islam, but I think Islam, we will see both good fighters. Islam moving up, it's interesting to see what's he gonna do. But I think Islam will be more, he gonna use his wrestling more in this fight.
But here's the thing, Khabib Nurmagomedov just revealed his own plans. He's actually going to retire from coaching once Usman, Umar, and Islam all wrap up their fighting careers. He made it super clear that his entire focus right now is just on supporting these guys. So, once their journeys in the sport are complete, he's stepping away from coaching as well.
How long do you see yourself coaching, and do you see yourself retiring from coaching? I can see the stress. Do you want to coach for a long time, or do you want to give it up? When these guys finish, I'm going to finish. Every month you have a fight. Oh, yes. But Usman, my priority is Usman, Umar, and Islam. And these guys are my priority. Round of applause, come on.
Meanwhile, Luke Rockhold has some wild stories about sparring with Islam Makhachev. He said he actually used Islam for his Machida camp and that they could go several rounds together. But Rockhold admitted that Makhachev really surprised him with his pure strength. He mentioned that even as a middleweight, He found himself getting unexpectedly tossed around, and he quickly recognized Islam's toughness in every single area.
I think I used him for like my Machida camp back in the day.
You flew him in from Dagestan?
No, he came with Khabib.
He's a Dagestan nigga?
He's Dagestani.
That's Khabib's crew.
Oh.
Yeah, no, but like I would actually like I could like spar a little bit with him. Like he would come in like my 4th and my 5th round.
Oh, no way.
And like I remember he threw me one time. I was like, what the fuck?
He judo tossed you?
Yeah.
Uchimata?
I was a middleweight, and he's But I got back up and got him back. But you know, he definitely surprised me. He's very tough everywhere.
Rockhold also talked about training with Khabib Nurmagomedov back in the day. He said that former lightweight champion always pushed him to his absolute limits. Luke explained that most lightweights couldn't really grapple or compete with him, but Khabib was just built different. He was relentless, super strong, and always eager to train harder and for longer than anyone else. Rockhold remembers those non-stop training sessions as honestly some of the toughest of his entire career.
He's very, very tough, man. Very tough. You know, he could work with me. Not a lot of lightweights could grapple with me and compete with me. And he was always tough, and he'd always want to go harder and further than everybody else. And at that time, that's exactly where I was. And it was like, who can push the bike harder? Who can sprint faster? I remember like we'd be doing sprints, and he would like, this motherfucker, like it was a push.
Did
he pushed me to my limit,
at
and
that time?
that's why I liked. I was like, come on, let's go train tonight. Let's go train here. We train together nonstop.
Now Luke Thomas shared something pretty wild. Apparently, middleweight Punahele Soriano once trained with Islam Makhachev and was just completely dominated. Soriano himself admitted that even as a full 85 founder, he basically couldn't do a single thing against Islam. He described that whole session as 2 hours of being totally overwhelmed by Makhachev's superior skill and control. Just imagine that.
So it was funny. He was saying one time, this was during the pandemic, he was rolling up to Extreme Couture and he had no one to train with for whatever time. And he called up Ali and he's like, oh, I got no one to train with. They're like, oh yeah, we'll send Islam to go. And he was Soriano at the time was a full 85er. And he said Makhachev just fucking murdered him for 2 hours. He couldn't do anything to him. He was like, I'm an 85er and this guy's a 55er. You can't do shit to this guy. You know, and you're hearing I've just noticed there's a lot of that happening.
On the other hand, Jack Della Maddalena's coach dropped some impressive news. He shared that Alexander Volkanovski and Craig Jones actually joined Jack's camp completely on their own. Get this, Craig even stayed nearby for weeks, paying for everything himself just to help out. Neither fighter was invited, and they weren't compensated at all. They came purely out of support and dedication, just eager to help Jack get ready for Islam Makhachev. That's serious commitment right there.
Like Craig's been here for weeks in an Airbnb, like, you know, paying for himself. Like, it's just unbelievable what these people will do just because they want to. You know, like people might think they're getting paid loads of money and Jack's like, well, it's not the case, man. They just want to help. Like, and it's people need to understand that they're not earning money or clout off the back of Jack. It's just they want to help Jack win. So we really appreciate it. It was so good to have Volk come over. And I think what people don't realise is we never asked him, we never paid for him. Like, he came on his own dime, you know, and just decided he wanted to come and help. So that's pretty phenomenal.
So Dimthamus has a pretty clear take on this. He believes Islam Makhachev needs to finish this fight early, and the reason is all about Craig Jones. He thinks Islam's best move is to get the fight to the ground super fast and capitalize before Jones can even begin to establish control and apply those really unique grappling techniques. It's a race against the clock, basically.
Well, I think that Islam's best chances are going to be really, really early. And I said it, if he can get him down early. Now, the Craig Jones element is a hack. It is a cheat code. Now, if you can get a man down early and just finish him before he gets started on his cheat codes, problem solved. If I'm Islam, you got to try to catch this man, because Jack's not the great, like, he wasn't like the greatest grappler prior, right? Like he doesn't come from like a grappling background. Like, he's competent, but if you can catch him early and get him to make a mistake early and then just never let him out, never let him get to his cheat code, that's where Islam's going to excel.
Michael Bisping has been showering Islam Makhachev with praise. He actually commends Islam for setting a totally new standard at lightweight, especially with those 4 straight title defenses, which surpasses all the previous champions. Bisping really admires Islam's bold choice to move up in weight, calling it a true mark of a champion. He emphasized that fighting on huge stages like Madison Square Garden is what every fighter dreams of, and Islam has absolutely earned that spotlight. Bisping even noted that whenever Islam decides to step away from the sport in the future, he can do it with immense pride, knowing he's proven himself against the elite.
I think I'm right in saying this, the most successful lightweight ever, defended the belt 4 times.
Yep.
The record previously was 3, so that's phenomenal, and we all know about the lightweight division and how stacked that is. I mean, he's defended the belt 4 times. He's, from what I understand, quite a simple man, so, be great, step up to another weight class, take out someone else, Madison Square Garden. These are the moments that as a fighter we live for, these kind of super fight moments, Of course, he's making a tremendous living. He doesn't want to do this forever, and he can go back to his farm in Dagestan and he can live a nice, simple life and know that he's been there, done that, and tested himself.
And Bisping continued, really praising Islam Makhachev for stepping up to welterweight. He went as far as calling him the most accomplished lightweight in UFC history. Bisping truly respects that Islam didn't just play it safe with title defenses, but actually chose to test himself against bigger, stronger opponents. He sees this whole move as a huge sign of a true champion's ambition, showing that Makhachev isn't just content with dominating one division. No, he's aiming to make history in a second weight class too.
Well, Islam doing it now, when he's defended the belt 4 times. He's defended the belt 4 times, the lightweight division. He's kind of gone through all the big stars there. Okay, let's go up to welterweight. Let's try something new. Let's try and do something that's never been done. Whereas a lot of the time we see fighters, they instantly become the champ and they want to defend, they want to challenge for another belt in another weight class because there's no risk there. There's no risk. If you lose, you're still the champ at 155 or whatever weight class it is. He's done it. He's defended the belt 4 times. He's proven that he was the legitimate best fighter at 155 pounds on planet Earth. And he's done that 5 times. Won the belt and then defended it 4 times. And now he said, right, I've done that. I've clearly proven that at 155 I'm the man. Let's see if I can do it at 170. It's incredible.
What's more, Chael Sonnen believes Islam Makhachev's move up to welterweight gives him a real chance to create a legacy that actually goes beyond Khabib Nurmagomedov. Sonnen thinks Islam won't openly admit it, but taking on a challenge that Khabib never even attempted really sets him apart. He also added that even if Islam isn't specifically motivated to outdo his mentor, his decisions in the sport will absolutely leave future fans and fighters with a unique example of his own path and achievements.
I'd love to hear it from him. He earned this the hard way. He cleaned out a division, maybe the hardest division in the sport. He's moved to another division. This is what it's all about. And not to mention, it's something he will never discuss. But if you don't always want to be the heir apparent to King Khabib's throne, you got to do something that Khabib didn't do. And this is his opportunity. And I know inside that's not his motivation. He is not trying to show up Khabib. But I am just suggesting at some point his grandkids are going to look back on his career and they will now have something they can turn to that is different than Uncle Khabib.
Yeah, he said that the other day. Somebody asked him, like, well, it doesn't matter for you. He goes, what a stupid question. He goes, Khabib's my brother. He goes, I don't want to do anything better than him. He goes, we do this together, but this is for my legacy. And right now, Islam.
Michael Bisping thinks a win over Jack Della Maddalena could seriously launch Islam Makhachev into those GOAT discussions. He pointed out that beating Jack and then defending that title multiple times would be a super rare and remarkable achievement. Bisping, echoing Mike Bone, even added that if Islam can handle elite welterweights like Sean Brady and Shavkat Rakhmonov, that would absolutely cement his legacy as one of the sport's all-time greats, and potentially one of its most dominant fighters ever. Pretty high stakes.
Looking at his record and you're seeing Moicano, Dustin Poirier, Volkanovski twice in a row, Charles Oliveira, and then if you were a critic, then you start talking about Bobby Green. There's Dan Hooker, who's a tremendous fighter, Drew Dober, Davey Hamosh, Arman Sarukian. You know what I'm saying? So that hasn't aged bad. So yeah. I mean, listen, if he gets the job done, I think without question, he deserves to be in that conversation.
Yeah, and dude, let alone if he can defend that belt a couple times against a Sean Brady, against a Shavkat, against any of these super high-level welterweights, like I think that would kind of push his legacy over the edge. And I think we're having conversations about him being top 3 or number 1 if he defends.
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. If he can beat Jack, and again, it's a big if. I'm not sure what the odds are on that fight, but if he can beat Jack and go on a run and defend it 2 or 3 times.
Belal Muhammad actually broke down the fight between Islam Makhachev and Jack Della Maddalena, and he had a pretty stern warning. He said Jack absolutely must be flawless on the ground. Belal noted that Islam's patience and control are just unreal, and he can totally dominate any grappling exchange, punishing even the tiniest openings. He really highlighted that while Makhachev rarely makes any mistakes, Jack sometimes leaves himself vulnerable with occasional lapses, and Islam would pounce on those in a heartbeat.
Islam versus Jack, for me, breaking down this fight stylistically, obviously trained with Islam, fought Jack. It's going to come down to if it hits the ground. If it hits the ground for Islam, I think his top game is going to be really good. He's very smart, very controlled, doesn't let you off the hook when you make a mistake. Jack makes mistakes on the ground. He uses it to scramble. He has good scrambling ability. He has moments where he's like lapses safety, right? He'll give up his back, he'll give up his neck, he'll give up an arm triangle. And you can't do that with Islam. Islam's gonna see that and he's gonna exploit it. I think if Islam comes out wrestling right away and forcing that takedown right away, making that work, it's gonna be a long night for Jack.
Belal Muhammad also commended Jack Della Maddalena for his super sharp fight IQ and relentless determination, recognizing him as a fighter who just never, ever gives up. However, he also threw in a big caution. Belal said Jack really needs to control the center of the octagon and absolutely avoid the fence, because that's where Islam Makhachev totally excels. He looked back at Islam's fight against Dustin Poirier, noting how Islam consistently drove opponents toward the cage before executing his takedowns. Belal's predicting that Makhachev's constant pressure and grappling will eventually just overwhelm Jack's defense.
Him being in there with him, he's very smart. He's good on the feet. He has good hands. He doesn't give up on himself. He always pushes through. So Jack's not going to be like a quitter, but he has to take the center. He has to be in the middle. He has to force the action and try not to get his back to the fence, because we've seen in the Poirier fight, Islam really wants to get you to the fence. Poirier did a good job of keeping the center, and he defended a couple of takedowns. But honestly, I just think that Islam's takedown offense is going to be more than Jack's takedown defense, and then when it goes to the ground, it's going to be a bad night. But if Jack can avoid some of those spots, there'll be moments for him. If he can make it to the 4th, 5th round, we'll see how Islam.
Now, Dan Hooker was quick to praise Islam Makhachev for his sharp fight IQ and incredible cage awareness. But he actually expects Jack Della Maddalena to have the definite edge at welterweight. Hooker believes that Jack's sheer size and strength will gradually wear Islam down if he can keep up consistent pressure. While he totally admires Makhachev's defensive skills and composure on the ground, Hooker thinks Jack's power and complete skill set at 170 pounds make him a seriously formidable threat, capable of challenging anyone in that division, including Islam.
I think Jack, just because of the size advantage, like the later it goes, like that's the thing. Being the bigger, stronger guy, it's effective if you can make the other fighter carry your weight. Jack being a bigger guy, I feel like the longer the fight goes, Islam's not used to carrying that same amount of weight into deep waters. I feel like just Jack's frame and size will give him the advantage if it goes later into the fight. But Islam Makhachev is an incredibly smart fighter. On the feet, he's very hard to hit. He doesn't like getting hit at all. And then he's also very conservative on the ground. He's a very hard guy to touch. He's a very hard guy to start putting some damage on. But Jack Della, I feel like there's no one better than him right now at welterweight, and I see him winning this fight.
Meanwhile, Michael Chandler is leaning slightly toward Jack Della Maddalena. He's super impressed by Jack's sharp fundamentals and his precise striking. Chandler pointed out Jack's amazing ability to control distance while still maintaining steady pressure, which really keeps his opponents off balance. Now, he recognizes that Islam Makhachev has trained with bigger, stronger partners his whole career, so the size difference probably won't bother him, Still, Chandler believes the big question is whether Jack can stay composed under Islam's non-stop wrestling attack and still manage to land those effective strikes.
How do you think Islam does next weekend?
JDM is a tough. He's not much of a puzzle, man. He's pretty basic, but he is brilliant and violent and devastating with the basics, man. A little bit of range, a little bit of reach on Islam, and I won't even sit there and say, because Islam's a different breed, man. I wouldn't sit there and say, oh, he's a 155er, so he's not used to going with 170 pounders. I would not be surprised if Islam, his entire career, has been sparring with 55, 70, 185, and 205ers, because the dude's kind of a nut. So I think I don't think strength or size is going to be the problem. It's really going to be the dichotomy between JDM's great striking abilities and is his takedown defense enough to stop the onslaught of wrestling that Islam's going to bring.
And that's a wrap for this one. How do you guys see this matchup playing out? Seriously, drop your predictions in the comments below. And hey, if you dug the content, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to our channel for even more awesome videos.